Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt like you're just going through the motions? Same routine, same people, same conversations. Like a movie playing on repeat, except you're not the director, you're just sitting there, watching your own life pass you by. Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you were truly scared of something you were chasing? Not scared of failing a test or getting rejected. I'm talking about the kind of fear that makes your stomach drop, your hands sweat, but you push forward anyway, because you know this is something that could change everything. If you can't remember the last time you felt that way, chances are you're playing it safe. And playing it safe is the enemy of an extraordinary life.
Mediocre doesn't mean bad. That's what makes it dangerous. Mediocre is comfortable. Mediocre is safe. Mediocre is that zone where you never really fail, but you never really win either. Imagine you have a remote control for your life. Living a mediocre life is like only adjusting the volume up and down a little bit, never changing the channel, never trying new features. You tell yourself, this is good enough, but deep down, you know that's a lie. I know so many people living like this. They work Monday through Friday, waiting for the weekend to rest. Then Sunday evening hits, and the anxiety about Monday begins. Their lives are measured from one vacation to the next. Their dream? Just to retire with enough savings to live comfortably. Listen carefully. There's nothing wrong with that kind of life if you're genuinely happy. But most people living like that aren't happy. They're just used to it. And there's a massive difference between happy and used to it. You know why people stay in mediocrity? Because to get out, you have to be willing to look foolish first. You have to be willing to fail in front of others. You have to be willing to admit that all this time you haven't been giving your maximum effort. And the human ego doesn't like that. It's easier to say, I tried my best, than to admit I was actually afraid to do my best because I was scared that even my best wouldn't be good enough.
You think you have plenty of time. That's the most dangerous illusion that exists. I want you to do something right now. Grab your calculator. If you live to 80 years old, that means you have about 4,000 weeks in your life. Sounds like a lot? Now subtract your current age. How many weeks do you have left? But wait, we're not done. Subtract another third for sleep. Subtract the time you spend at a job you don't love. Subtract the time you waste scrolling through social media without purpose. How much is really left to chase your dreams? The number gets scary, doesn't it? The problem is, the human brain isn't designed to think long-term like this. Your brain is designed to think, what am I eating today? How do I survive today? That's why you find it so easy to procrastinate important things, while saying, I'll do it later. But later never comes. Only too late comes. There are people who spend 10 years saying, next year I'll start that business. There are people who spend 5 years saying, when I'm ready, I'll take that risk. They don't realize that by waiting to be ready, they've already lost the most valuable time they have, time to learn from mistakes. Let me explain something that might be controversial. Extraordinary people and mediocre people aren't actually different in terms of talent or luck. Their difference is just one thing: tolerance for discomfort. Mediocre people stop when things get uncomfortable. Extraordinary people get serious when things get uncomfortable. Look at successful people on YouTube, in business, in sports. They all have one thing in common. They were willing to look foolish. They uploaded their first video that got 12 views, and 10 of those were from family. They started businesses that lost money the first year. They practiced until they failed, hundreds of times. The difference is they didn't stop there. Mediocre people stop and say, "I guess I'm just not talented." Extraordinary people pause, evaluate, then try again with a different approach. They understand that failure isn't the end of the story. It's just feedback. And here's the most important part. Extraordinary people don't wait for motivation. They move even when they don't feel like it. Because they understand, motivation comes and goes. What lasts is discipline. You know why most people fail at the gym? Not because they're not strong enough, because they only show up when they feel motivated. Then that motivation disappears and they quit. People who succeed, they show up even when they don't want to, because they've committed to a system, not to a feeling. An extraordinary life isn't built from extraordinary moments. An extraordinary life is built from small decisions you make every single day, even when you don't feel like making them. Waking up when the alarm goes off, even though you want to sleep more. Studying for an hour, even though you want to watch Netflix. Working out, even though your body feels like dying. That's what makes the difference.
Now I want you to imagine something. You're old, sitting on your porch, the sun is setting, and you start remembering all the things you wanted to do but never did. The business you wanted to start but were too afraid to fail. The skill you wanted to learn but thought it was too late. The person you wanted to talk to but was scared of rejection. The journey you wanted to take but thought you'd do it later when you had more money. And now, at that old age, you have money, you have time, but you don't have energy. You don't have the same opportunities. And worse, you don't have another chance to try. That's regret. And regret hurts far more than failure. Failure hurts for a moment. You fail, you learn, you move on. But regret? Regret follows you until you die. Regret wakes up when you sleep. Regret whispers in your ear when you see someone else doing what you wanted to do but never tried. The largest study on human life regrets shows one consistent thing. People don't regret the things they did and failed at. They regret the things they never tried. They regret not saying "I love you" to the people they cared about. They regret not taking the risk to pursue their dream career. They regret spending too much time worrying about other people's opinions. So now I want to ask you, what are you postponing? What do you know you should be doing, but you keep saying later? Today, I challenge you to do one small thing that brings you closer to the life you want. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Send that email. Write that business plan draft. Sign up for that class. Make that phone call. Start that workout. Whatever you've been postponing, start now. And I'm not promising you instant success. I'm not promising you'll immediately feel happy. What I promise, you'll sleep tonight with a different feeling. The feeling that you're not someone who just talks. You're someone who takes action. Because at the end of the day, you only live once. You don't get a reset button. You don't get to try again from the beginning with the knowledge you have now. What you have is today, this moment, this decision. Do you want to spend your life being the person who plays it safe? Or do you want to be the person who can eventually say, "I gave it my all, and I have no regrets about my choices"? Because mediocrity is a choice. Extraordinary is also a choice. And both choices have a price. The difference, the price of a mediocre life you pay later in the form of regret. The price of an extraordinary life you pay now in the form of effort and discomfort. Which price do you want to pay? You only live once. Don't waste it on things that are safe but empty. Chase something that scares you.
Chase something that makes you doubt yourself. Because right there, at that point where you doubt, that's where your greatest potential lives. So, are you ready to leave mediocrity behind? Or do you want to stay there, hoping that one day magic will happen? The decision is in your hands. The time is now.